Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. So, something's about to happen I never thought would happen. Actually, before I begin, let me just say one more day in this liberal suckhole. So, if you go to the Dan Dawson Show on my Facebook page, you'll see a video of Lori Lightfoot. And I gotta say, this is one time where I agree with her. So, for the 2022 budget in Chicago, the stimulus money Chicago got, the COVID money, she gave 60% of that to the Chicago Police Department, which is exactly what she should have done. But see what happens, right? Is you get these liberals. You see the young lady, and she's yelling at her, and no, people are dying, and people are afraid of their rent, and blah, 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 blah. Now, I get the part where the young lady's saying, well, there's $1 billion sitting on your desk, you haven't, blah, blah, blah. So Lori Lightfoot's trying to explain to her, well, this is how the process works. She doesn't want to hear it because they just want to scream. And of course, it's the usual 20-something-year-old doesn't know anything about life or society. Let me just say this. For a city as crime-ridden as Chicago, Lori Lightfoot did the right thing. Yes, you give the majority of that money to your police force, you build your police force, you get these neighborhoods under control, and the young lady's like, people are dying, they're worried about getting evicted. But see, that's what the liberals do. They scream and yell with no facts. No facts. People are being shot in Chicago every day. There are more people that die from gunshots or injured by violent crime than die of COVID. And I'm sorry, if you've been collecting unemployment for all this time and you've chosen not to pay your rent, that's on you. See, it's called personal responsibility. But hey, it is what it is. But no, I saw this and I'm like, I actually agree with Lori Lightfoot on that one. See, I'm not unreasonable. If you do the right thing, I'm going to say you did the right thing. Now, Lori Lightfoot is a sack of shit. But even a broken clock is right twice a day. And she was right on that one. You got to build your police force. So, I can't believe I actually agree with her on this. It's killing me. It's killing me. Y'all, it might drive me to drinking. But she was right. Yeah, you build your police force. It's the only thing that's going to save your re-election campaign. Stop treating cops like shit. Stop treating people like shit. Stop running around whining, demanding everything be given to you. Go ahead and actually earn something. So, I agree with Lori Lightfoot, but see, this is what the liberals do, and this is why your typical Democratic person has such a hard time, because they get pressured into it and they say super stupid shit. Also, got an interesting Facebook conversation the other day. One of my, I guess now former Facebook friends, I don't know, maybe we're still Facebook friends, I don't know, don't care, was saying that only the unvaccinated are getting sick. Like, that's not true. This vaccine is not as effective as they're telling you it are. It ended up into a 2-day argument. So I tell you, don't argue with liberals, because I know. Send them to me, I'll argue with them. But it ended up into a 2-day argument. And so finally at the end of the day, and I was explaining how there's another group of people. I'm not going to say any names. I'm going to give a year though, 1936. That requested that you show papers wherever you went. And if we're doing that now, we're not too far away from that. Well, even if you look at the Nazi Socialist Party, oops, I said a name, and the Democrat Socialist Party, they're not too far apart. And that's just part of what this is. They stand up and yell and scream. Sooner or later, their power has to be taken away. We can't allow this as a society because it won't last long. But no, I was just really shocked. Just wanted to give you a brief overview of that. So finally, she had to admit, because when it comes to, you're not going to tell me anything about the Nazis. I was always fascinated with Hitler, even as a young kid, because it's like, how this guy who's Austrian, stepfather's Jewish, convince a nation of Germans that they were the superior race and he was the only one that could lead them. I've said that in previous videos. It really fascinates me how the human mind works and how easily people are manipulated, especially when you can drive into a fear campaign. So when you can drive fear, you can control the vast majority of people. Fear is a powerful motivator. Powerful motivator. Think about everything we do in life. You know why you get up every morning before the crack of dawn and you go to work? Fear of not being able to pay the rent. Fear is a very powerful motivator. But anyway, so she finally had to admit, oh, there's some things you know better than me. Because her whole thing was, and this is a liberal argument, right? I'm educated. It's like you're fucking LPN. Big whoop. Who cares? Big whoop. You may be educated, but let me see your stock portfolio. How much money is in your stock portfolio? It's there's education and there's knowledge. It's two different things. Learn the difference. But it boiled down into, she was like, well, there's some things you may know more about than me, but science isn't one of them. I'm like, so what's the science say about this COVID? And of course, no answer. And then she comes back with the typical liberal response. Well, this is your last warning. If you don't stop, I'm blocking you. I'm like, then block me. I don't care. But of course, what liberals do, right, is they want you to stop, but they'll keep going, even though they're not making sense. See, because what they do is the old Hitler thing. So here's what I want you to do. Go back on YouTube, watch any of the Hitler videos. And even though, especially if you don't speak German, I speak some German, you might not understand what he's saying, but you can tell by his emotions what he's implying. And if you watch AOC and Rashida Tlaib and any of these liberals, they do the same thing. It's all emotion. No logic. No logic. And a society can't stand on emotion alone. Keep that in mind. I don't want this video to run too long, so I'm going to cut it off. Maybe I'll make another one later. But like, subscribe, share. And as always, especially now, buy MREs. Buy some food supplies. Stock your ammo. Take those survival lessons. That way, you'll be able to do what you got to do.